So what's going on, guys? 2017, what a year for gaming. So surrounding me everywhere, on the table over here, got some collector's editions, is current generation stuff that came out this year. And this isn't even, frankly, all of it. This is just the ones that really impacted me and things that I just thought were really good and deserving to be talked about. And if you didn't play some of these games, you know, maybe you should. And so these are just like my opinions, my favorite games of the year, and let's get cracking. So we started out strong with a game that I still have yet to finish, and I really want to, and this was actually a really cool addition that came out for this. This is a franchise that I always wanted to get into, but never could, and then now that they're all going to be out on the PS4, I think now is the perfect time to jump into Yakuza. This being Zero, so this is a new game for the PS4. This is a prequel to Yakuza 1, which got released as Yakuza Kiwami. And Yakuza Kiwami 2 is going to be coming out probably in February for Japan, I think, and then probably Christmas time for us next year. It might be sooner. I don't think there's a definitive American date yet, but I know these both sold pretty well in America. So I do want those to come out soon. Yakuza 6 is actually coming out in, I think it's 1/20/2018, so just about a month away. I did pre-order the big edition. However, I'm probably doing an unboxing for it, but I'm not going to even play it till I play through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then get to 6 eventually. So I basically probably won't even get to play 6 until PS5 comes out, because they're releasing a Yakuza every year. But if you haven't tried this series, I definitely recommend it. Haven't beat it yet. This is something that I want to jump into first thing next year after I get done beating the big game that I'm playing right now, which will probably take till the end of the year to beat. So those were just some of the notable things that started off the year with me. Well, Yakuza Zero was the beginning of the year. And then we got kind of a sequel to a hidden gem that people are now finding out about because of the sequel. That being Nier Automata. And this is a really fantastic game. This is probably some of the best music not created by David Wise in gaming. It's just so... It's just an eargasm every time you listen to the music in this game. The Nier Automata theme of... It's either the white... There's a white mech and a black mech theme. And I think I have both of them. They're free. I think I have the white one set right now because I like that music a little bit better. But so that's been set on my PS4 as my theme since then. And I just sometimes I'll just leave my PS4 on just to listen to that song repeat for, you know, while I'm editing or doing other stuff. I just leave it because it's so good. And the story to this, oh my god. So there's two branching paths in this. It starts out with Drakengard 3, and then it goes to Drakengard 1, Drakengard 2, which I don't have. I have Drakengard 3, but I don't have 1 and 2 yet. Those are PlayStation 2 games. 3 is PS3. And it was a very late release, actually. And then on the opposite spectrum, it goes to Nier, and then Nier Automata, which is this one. So, and I assume this will probably get another sequel, because I know this sold very well for a fact. So many good things came out this year. The Crash Insane Trilogy. Again, just a fantastic game. Now here's something that I was really desperately waiting for on the Switch, and that is Ukulele. I couldn't wait any longer. When I bought this about two months ago, I got pretty decently far into it. I do want to eventually beat it, because Rare at one point in time was my favorite company, and they probably still are my favorite company. Not the Rare of today, but the Rare of yesteryear. But this is, if you grew up in the 90s playing Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, the Donkey Kong Country games, if you enjoyed any of that, you'll love this game. It's right up your alley. And I can say for a fact on the PS4, it looks amazing. The Switch version doesn't look terrible, but it's not getting a physical release, so being that I'm DGC, can't really be having that. Needed a physical copy. Got the superior version of it. What else we got here? Alright, so let's go into some of these real quick. And then we got Wipeout Omega. So this has some. This is a collection. It has let's see, Wipeout HD, Wipeout Fury, and Wipeout 2048 from the PS Vita. Beautiful visuals. I've heard rumors that they're making a VR patch for this, and oh my god, talk about motion sickness. But I cannot wait to play that. And that's a subject we're going to talk about next. I finally jumped into a VR headset ecosystem, if you will, and that being the PlayStation VR. I already have the necessary equipment. I bought a PS4 Pro specifically to get a PS4 or PSVR specifically. And then even at that rate, I waited to get a white PS4 Pro just because I wanted to have something a little more unique and different. Not that they're that rare. But Skyrim VR, oh my god. This is such an old game at this point in time, and it's been released on 360, PS3, Xbox One, or PS4. There's technically an Xbox One X patch, technically a PS4 Pro patch. And then it's been released on PC once, and then Switch, and now PSVR. And I think it might even be... I don't think this is exclusive, so it's probably on HTC Vive and the Oculus as well. So it's released on like 10 platforms at this point in time. But playing this in VR is breathtaking. It will change your perspective on gaming. And at first, with VR for me, I could only stand it for about 10 or 15 minutes. I never got sick, and I never really felt like I was getting like seasick or anything like that. I just felt real, I guess kind of in a weird way, like real queasy in my stomach, but not like severely. But I was like, dude, I'm a fucking hardcore gamer. I can fucking handle this. So I kept pushing myself through it, and now I think my longest sit down with this was like 4 hours and 20 minutes, somewhere around that ballpark. And that was frankly just because it's kind of annoying to wear a headset that long. It wasn't because I was like getting motion sick or anything. This is almost like a new experience being able to play it in VR. So now's the time to jump in on VR. It is on sale right now for the whole holiday, probably till December 25th or 24th rather. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Jump into the PSVR. I think it is the best place to play it. VR being Sony as a whole is the backer of that system, right? So they're putting out The Inpatient, they're putting out Moss, they're putting out some kind of SWAT team-based game, I forget what it's called, that's coming out real soon. Doom VFR just came out, and the resolution in the headset is 1920 by 1080 this ways, I believe is how that works. And but the funny thing is, everybody rags on the resolution, but the resolution in the Oculus and the Vive is really not even that much better. It's like 100 or 200 pixels better. So you're saving a ton of money by doing this, and you're getting all sorts of great PlayStation exclusives that you aren't going to get on the PC. So Skyrim VR, jump into VR if you can afford it. I can't recommend it enough. And I only have that one game and then the demo disc that it came with. So, well, let me grab all these as well. This was kind of the year of me finally giving in and buying indie games. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess these are kind of indie games, yeah. So, I mean, yes, this is published by Limited Run, but I remember seeing this at the Xbox E3 and just falling in love with the art style and the idea of it. I live streamed this once already. This is a really badass game. You could probably pick this up on eBay for under $40, and you know, I can't recommend it enough. It does come with, no, not even, it's like a phony manual, one-page manual, but really awesome. Everybody in the crew of guys on, you know, that I'm in or whatever, picked up Sinmora. I actually have this on the Switch as well. Fantastic game. Probably, in my opinion, one of the coolest stories in a shoot 'em up and best visual styles in a shoot 'em up. And this is an older game. This launched on the 360. And this is on 360, not physically, and the PS3 not physically, PS4 physically, Xbox One physically, Switch physically, and you can get it on the PC as well. Now this one actually should have been in a pickups video, but whatever. Can't really help that if it's not in a pickups video. So this is Nex Machina, Death Machine. Again, from Limited Run Games. This is kind of like an on the ground shoot 'em up, and really, truly badass, beautiful game. like the explosions that it makes and stuff. It's just such an amazing game. And I waited to get this physically, and I'm so glad I did. Limited run. If you somehow watch this, you will get a huge checkbook in my box if you deliver to me Resogun for the PS4. I want that physically. And if you haven't played Resogun, it was a launch title on the PS4, made by the same people, Housemarque. I still play it to this day. It's probably one of the coolest shoot 'em ups you'll ever play. And then we got Raiden V. Love me some Raiden V. Love all the Raidens, but they're very difficult. I'm not good at shmups, but I do love playing the shit out of them. So Raiden V came out this year as well. And a small shout out to this company. I'm not going to show all these, but Curse Castilla, Ghostblade, Blue Rider, Rive, Tachyon Project. These are all really nice limited editions that I'm glad to have. They are open, but I kept them in the little plastic things. So all those were fantastic. Some other notable titles this year. Played the shit out of Destiny 2. I actually need to jump in that expansion because it comes with the expansion pass and digital deluxe because this came with my PS4 Pro. So I got to jump in and get my money's worth out of that. Mass Effect, haven't even touched it yet. Tekken 7. This was the year that I finally jumped into fighters. I've had fighters, but this is the first year I've wanted to jump back in that genre full force. And we got Tekken 7. Haven't really delved into that too much yet. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I'm actually really enjoying this. However, I wish there was X-Men characters. That's my only real gripe about it. But everything else is really cool. Really cool story. Really unique. I'm a few hours into the story. It's not a long story, so I'm probably almost done. But really worthwhile game. And then two other games that I actually picked up on Black Friday. I've installed them, but I haven't even played them yet. But I already know both these games are good. So Uncharted Lost Legacy, Knack 2. I enjoyed the fuck out of the first game of that. Underrated as fuck, Knack 1. So Knack 2 will probably be underrated as hell as well. And I mean, it's Uncharted, Naughty Dog, come on. They literally have never released a bad game and probably never will. So, yeah. Alright, so we welcomed a new system into the 8th generation. Even though, in my mind, it's with the Switch coming out, it basically is the 9th generation. But that's just how I view it. But other people are different. So, launch day. What came out launch day? Got my Switch. For those of you that have been subscribed long enough, you'll know that I got this. I am a big Zelda fan. However, how to say this? I really enjoyed this one, but it just didn't have that same Zelda feel to me. And I do want to eventually go back and replay the entire game. I really do. And I will make time to do it sometime in 2018. Just to make sure that I'm not wrong in my feelings. We've got a bunch of dust on here. But it is a really worthwhile game to play. But to me, I think it departed so much from the series' roots. Which some people wanted that to happen. Some people like me didn't. I missed the dungeon aspect of the game. Being that now you go into the 4 divine beasts, spoilers, but it's almost a year old at this point. You should have played it by now. And that was kind of your dungeon, but they weren't even that long. You could do those dungeons in 10 to 20 minutes, and then you did the same boss fight over and over again. They each had a different power-up, but they all basically looked exactly the same. And it was cool and all, and, you know, Ganondorf at the end, dragon, and then you got the divine beast shooting the laser beams or whatever, and it was good. And I did enjoy it, and I guess I just really need to sink my teeth into it one more time to enjoy it. For me, that's kind of how it's always been with Zeldas, so maybe I just haven't played it enough. But the departure of not having dungeons really just rubbed me the wrong way. It really did. So take that for what you will. I did enjoy it, though. And this is a really badass special edition. I will say that. And then on launch day, I also picked up Super Bomberman R. Konami and Capcom, you haven't been doing so great in the last couple years with fan service, but now Capcom is coming back full force. Mega Man 11, Resident Evil 7, I still haven't played that yet. I'm getting that for Christmas from my parents. And Konami, I'm actually a little bit excited for Metal Gear Survive. Just because Kojima's not there doesn't mean it's going to be a bad game. However, mark my words, I do foresee that game being riddled with microtransactions. But with that being said, Super Bomberman R, This was a love letter to old Bombermans, and unfortunately it's still $50, and that's just Capcom or Konami being greedy, I guess, at this point in time. I have the Gamer Club unlocked, which I do recommend if you don't have. But this was such a great game. Again, I cannot recommend this enough either. Just such a good game. I played this twice through already and enjoyed the crap out of it. Once on the console and once on portable when I first got it, because these were the only two games that I had initially. And then I think a month or two after the Switch's launch, you got Mario Kart 8. Just about every Sunday I play this for anywhere from 1 hour to 4 hours, just so that I don't get rusty on it. I play a lot of Mario Kart 8, and if anybody wants to play with me, go ahead and leave your friend code down in the comments, or however that works. I don't really know, but leave me your code or your name, and then I'll figure it out, and I'll add you and we can play. Mario Kart 8, awesome game. I do own it on the Wii U. I did buy all the DLC. Each DLC pack, I think it was 15 if you bought them both together, or I don't remember for 8. And then this one basically added the feather, the boo, and then double items, and then the Inklings, the Animal Crossing characters, and then Link. And then that was pretty much it, but still honestly worth the price. Alright, so there are 2 multiplayer games of the year for me. One being PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battleground. If you haven't played that game yet, it's coming out on the Xbox in like a week or two, and then it's on the PC as well. The Xbox is unfortunately going to be locked to 30 frames a second. I don't think that will ever change. Now that isn't game breaking, because if it's actually locked at 30 FPS and everybody is locked at the same frame rate, it's not that big a deal. It's really not. Now the thing that bothers me most about that is I paid for the Xbox One X because I thought I would get more powerful versions. The dude Dunn admitted that it was going to be 60 FPS on the Xbox One X. It can do it. It should be at that. And here's why. With Infestation, the New Z, or Infestation Survival Stories, it's a shitty game on Steam. However, it's the game that I've played most in my entire life. I have 2,600 or 2,700 hours sunk into that game. Now I know what you're thinking, Alex, what the fuck, man? That's kind of ridiculous. But I did that over the process of like 6 years with my gaming best friend. Never met him in real life. His name's Chris. He's in the Navy. He's from Puerto Rico. My best friend. Frankly, I talk to the dude pretty often. Probably never going to meet the guy. We met online in that game. We still play that game together all the time, and we have so many great memories. And I've recorded little clips over the years of us just doing stupid shit and just like running up on guys and just popping them in the face and with the shotgun, and just great times. But all right, so I'm getting a little sidetracked. But so me and him play PUBG a lot together, and that and this next game are my multiplayer games of the year. Splatoon 2. Didn't even finish the story, and no real desire to. The story's okay, but it's just kind of an appetizer to the multiplayer. It just whets your palate so that you get familiar with the controls and this and that. This don't be mistaken. This is a multiplayer only game. However, me personally and most gamers would give them shit if it was just a multiplayer only title and didn't have a single player. Nintendo is not stupid. That's why the single player is there. It's decent, but by no means is it worth buying the game for that. You're buying this for the multiplayer. This game is so unique and so atmospheric, and just the ambiance of the game, and just the color palette. Oh my god. And just the shine of the ink. It's basically paint, but it's ink. The shine of it, the glimmer, and just the level design, and everything about it is just so good. And then like Turf War, and then you've got Rainmaker, and all sorts of stuff. And again, if you want to play this online with me, leave your friend code or your name or however it works on the Switch. I don't remember. Down in the description. I would be more than glad to jump in on this with you. And I do have the Pro Controller for this as well. So it's just something I wanted to mention. But yeah, awesome game. Now, for one other controversial thing that I had said on my channel recently, Super Mario Odyssey. Beautiful game, fantastic game. However, it departed from the series in the way I didn't really like. I guess I'm just such an old-fashioned gamer at this point in time that, much like with Halo 4 and 5, I didn't like the robot shit. Much like Gears 4, I didn't like the robot shit that they added in. I just wanted to fight the Locust, whether they were the Lambent Locust or the regular Locust. Halo 4, I just wanted to fight the Flood and the Covenant. I didn't want to fight the fucking robots. With this, I just wanted to jump into paintings or go to Delfino Island or this or that. I didn't want to, launch around on like a hub map with the spaceships. There's no real hub world. It's just like a hub map. That was one thing that kind of peeved me a little bit. It's not that big of an issue. It's kind of a personal issue with it. And New Donk City, it's breathtaking when you finally get there. It's a huge world. It's not that big, but it's pretty big. And then slight spoilers. There's a mission in New Donk City where you're running from a T-Rex in New York City. That's crazy. That's something you're only going to ever experience in Mario. It's an awesome experience. And then you go to one world where it's like a cooking world. It's like a chef world, and there's just all sorts of different worlds. And it is a cool game, and you can put different outfits on. And I really enjoyed, because I loved Sunshine so much, I liked the beach world a lot because it really reminded me of Sunshine a lot. I don't know. Again, I think this is much like Zelda, where I just need to play it again or play it more to really enjoy it. But it's not a bad game, but to me, it just departed from the way that I remember and liked Mario. Now, if this is the way that it's going to go in the future, I guess I can get behind it, but I don't know, I just miss jumping up and hitting the block and getting my Tanuki flower, getting my mushroom, getting my fire flower, and this and that. Or at least, at the very least, they could have kept those in there, but then also had the hat as an option. Or I don't know, that might have gotten confusing. But, for me, this was a truly awesome game. But just wasn't the way I needed it to be. Now, this is the surprise game of the year for me. Really glad to have gotten this. I think this was $100. This was a GameStop exclusive. It is open. I just keep it in here because you can see it from the front. Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle, the Collector's Edition. This was probably the most unique, deserving game of, this should have been in the Game of the Year category as well. This was cool. This was badass. This was different. It was unique. And you got into this cool world with the Rabbids and and seeing Luigi Rabbid and the Peach Rabbid, she's hilarious. She's like a little sassy diva, and the Luigi Rabbid, he's like kind of stupid, but he's like funny. And then like it was just such a badass game, and then visually, the graphics in this game were fantastic as well. They really were. So that was one of the really standout games to me this year. Let's go over some Xbox stuff. There wasn't really a lot for this system this year. As far as exclusives go, I think this was, console exclusive. This was 1, this was 2, and that was 3. This comes out every year, whether it be the Horizon or the normal. It's okay. It's the same thing every year. Halo Wars 2. Really enjoyed it. The first Halo Wars is probably it is in my top 10 360 games of all time. So this is definitely going to be a top 10 game for me on the Xbox One. I do really need to go back and replay it with the Xbox One enhancements. Super's Lucky's Tale, haven't really delved into it too much just because I've got so many games here, but it is fun from what I've played already. And I've been hearing a lot of people actually say that they recommend it, and it's only a $20 game, I believe. I paid $24 on Black Friday, but I think it already has gone down in price. Call of Duty World War II, already beat it? Fantastic. I've missed out on the last probably 4 or 5 Call of Duties, and I just did not enjoy them because I was just like, I don't want to be jumping boots in space and this and that and stuff. This went back to its roots, and it did it well. There's a lot of trench levels where you're just dipping and dodging through trenches, and sniper levels and tank levels and just all sorts of great levels. I believe, the first level is Normandy, and it's much like Call of Duty 2 originally was, where you blast your way up through Normandy. I will say that the Normandy in Call of Duty 2, in my opinion, was better than it was in this, but that was my only gripe. And that's just probably because I played that mission over and over again because I was so poor back then, and I had to play it over and over again. Assassin's Creed Origins, haven't even put it in yet. Shadow of Mordor, played it for an hour. About halfway through this, really good game. Alright, so that does it for Xbox stuff. Here is one game that I'm kind of disappointed that I haven't gotten around to playing yet, because this really grabbed my attention. I'm recently getting into RPGs a lot, and Ys 8, this is their first, full HD 3D RPG. This is the kind of RPG that I like, where it's just like hack and slash, run around, that kind of stuff. Haven't delved into it too much, but I did an unboxing of this, and my God, is this an amazing special edition. I'm so grateful to have this in my collection, and I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this game. I really can't. So as you can see, there's a couple games up here. Haven't delved into that too much yet. Metroid is probably my second favorite series of all time, or it is my second favorite series of all time. About halfway into that. I like it, but I think with that art style it should have been on the Switch, or they should have kept it, they should have made it like 32-bit graphics where it was like pixelated, and then put it on the 3DS. That's kind of my gripe with that, because I think the graphics look fucking terrible in that game. And this is coming from like a die-hard Metroid fan who owns every single Metroid game except for the trilogy pack, but I mean, I already own all those separate. So whatever. Fire Emblem Warriors, not a terrible game. Axiom Verge, badass Metroid game. Metroid clone. Now, the 3DS is on its way out. That's no surprise. This was kind of a... I really enjoyed Fates. Or no, this is Fates. No, this is not Fates. Fates was the previous year. Actually, I guess it was 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know. It was a while ago. I beat that and enjoyed it. Echoes. Really good. However, this one is very difficult, because this is a remake of the first one, which is called Gaiden, or Gaiden, I believe. Fire Emblem Gaiden. For the NES. We never got it, so this is like a remake of that. But with that being said, they modernized the graphics and the text and this and that, but they didn't modernize the gameplay to the Fire Emblem Fates level. So this is a very difficult game. Fun, but very difficult. And that's pretty much bringing us to the end. And actually, one of the two digital games that I wanted to talk about, and then we got one last thing to talk about on the channel here. Cuphead. Best visual eyegasm you will ever have. It looks like a 1930s cartoon, and the music to it it's pretty good. Now, I mentioned in my Game Awards that it wasn't very good. I went back and played it more. I'm now in the third world. It's a very difficult game, but so rewarding to beat it. It's like playing old NES games. That's the best thing I can relate it to. Old NES, SNES, and Genesis, and Master System games where they were very difficult, like when you were a child and you only got maybe 3 or 4 games a year, but you just kept working at that game, working at it, because you knew that you had to beat it, because that's all you were getting at until your birthday, Easter, Christmas, whenever. But Cuphead, so amazing. If you have a PC or an Xbox, I cannot recommend it enough. Now, my personal game of the year was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Oh my God. It has the most amazing environmental 3D surround sound that anybody can enjoy. You put it's baked into the game. The whole engine is baked, has the sound engine baked into it. So you'll hear stuff back here, and then you'll hear stuff over here. That like it tells you when you start the game that you need to put put a headset on to fully enjoy the game, and you really do. So even on the PS4, and then even on the PS4 Pro, it looks slightly better. It's an amazing visual experience on console, and then it's also on PC as well. The story to it is so engrossing and so different and so unique. Nothing, in my opinion, in gaming has ever engaged a story like that, and just it's just such a fresh experience and a new ideas in the game, and then just a new way for it to be a AAA indie title that was only $30. And I actually bought it twice just to support them, and then the second time I bought it, all that money went to helping out depressed people. and mental illness and stuff. And I think that's really honorable of that developer to do that with probably half of the money that they made. Basically, they made enough money on it to get out of the hole, and then they donated the rest of the money to mental health issues, which is really just a phenomenal thing for them to do. I don't personally know anybody that has mental illnesses, or at least I'm not aware of, but because you never really know. And if you know somebody that ever has mental illnesses, you know, be there for them. And I think playing this game should have been a bigger thing and a bigger priority for a lot of gamers to play, because it really just it's a story that really makes you think about life in general. It's just so breathtaking, and the visuals, just everything about it, I can't recommend it enough. It unfortunately only came out digitally, no fault to them, but I knew that I wanted that because they showed that game off at PSX like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was just like, yep, done. Ninja Theory, done. Anything they make is good. Done. I cannot wait to see what their next experience is. Cannot wait. Now, I bet you never thought that you would hear that an RPG is my favorite game of the year. I haven't even shown this in a pickups video yet. I guess you're seeing it now. I have the controller as well. It's right here. I haven't really played anything else since I got this. I'm already 18 hours deep into it. I can't put it down. While I was at work, I couldn't stop thinking about it. While I was sleeping, I was dreaming about it. When I'd wake up to pee, I'd be like, fuck, why isn't it 7 in the morning on the weekend where I can just start playing and gotta go back to bed? And just basically all my free time is either thinking about this game or playing this game. The story is so good. You start out, the first hour of the game, you're not even actually... You're playing, but it's mainly just giving this huge... It's diving into this huge story that you're going to enjoy for the first hour. It's just a huge plot gets built. You start out, you meet Gramps, cool ass like Titan dragon guy. He kind of reminds me of Falcor, and so instantly I fell in love with that because that's one of my favorite movie protagonists, is Falcor. And then you land on this floating city basically, and it's basically like a floating boat, and then you go around, you meet different people, and then the sort of governor of the place requests to see you, and then your guy Rex is like, well, what the hell, blah 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 blah, and then you go meet him, and then he promises him this crazy job for $200,000, $100,000 up front, $100,000 when they get back, and it's just really crazy. And then you go around, you just talk to all these different people in this city, then you eventually get on your ship and you meet the rest of your crew, and I don't really want to give away too many more spoilers. That's the first maybe 20 minutes of the game. It's so good. It's not the best graphically. I think it runs at 720p in docked, and it's like 380p portable. It looks terrible portable. Don't get that twisted. It looks terrible. But docked, it looks pretty good. The art design, the reason they went cel shaded was because they couldn't have went for a more realistic art style with the power of the Switch. That's why they went cel shaded. However, the cel shaded graphics are amazing. The game kind of reminds me of Wind Waker combined with Skies of Arcadia combined with Neverending Story the movie combined with like Waterworld. So Waterworld, Neverending Story being 2 movies, Wind Waker and Skies of Arcadia being 2 games, kind of just all put into a blender, ground up, and spit out into Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I've heard that you can beat the main story in about 70 to 80 hours and about 160 to beat pretty much everything. I think I might go for a 100% on this. The side quests are even enjoyable. They're dumb and mundane, but they're enjoyable. And you have to do a lot of grinding in this game. I think I'm around level 20. So my guy Rex is at 20, Nia is at like 22, Handban or whatever the hell his name is, he's at like 23. So they're all roughly around 20. But yeah, this is not only my game of the year, this is now in my top 10 games of all time. I cannot recommend this enough. This is single-handedly the best RPG that I've ever played in my life. Again, just like with Hellblade, this is like a game changer. This, to me, opened up RPGs for me, and I think the problem with me getting into RPGs before was because the story would always take so long to unfold. But with this, you're just thrust into the story. The first 20 minutes, you're just like, I got to know about, you know, all these characters. You got Jin, and you got his name's like Maz or something, and then the girl, and then, you know, you meet Pyra. Pyra. And then, you know, so essentially you have what they call blades, and you're your guy, and then your blade is Pyra, and then they're like linked with this like energy that goes between them, and yeah, and you can get different blades, but I mean, Pyra is part of the story. She's going to always be in the cutscenes, so it's just weird to use different blades. And all of the, you know, and then you meet Tora. He's a little Don Pon or whatever they're called. I forget what they're called, but they're like these little they're almost like fat little Ewoks, basically. And then Nia's got like this white tiger named I forget how you say his name, but it's, oh my god, I can't recommend this enough. And look at this box. This is embossed and just. So some people will say this is worth, you know, a Switch is worth owning just for this. I would say it is just for this. Again, just for this on the go. Not so much that. Again, Zelda, definitely worth owning a Switch for. Although you can play that on the Wii U. Mario & Rabbids, in my opinion, definitely owning a Switch for. If you're not playing this game this holiday, you are doing yourself a huge dissatisfaction. Basically, what you need to do is sell everything in your collection, get $300 plus tax, $60 plus tax, and a Pro Controller, and play this game. This is the best Switch game this year, and my favorite game of the year. And I'm not even done yet. Can't put it down. So this is already about a 20 or 30 minute video, I think. That's long enough. These are all my opinions and all my favorite games of the year. Actually, there's one more that I do want to talk about, and a little disappointed about this one. Again, this was definitely a contender for Game of the Year before I played Xenoblade 2, which will hopefully be in, if everybody doesn't forget about it by the time the next Video Game Awards come around, it deserves to be in Best RPG category, Game of the Year, Best Soundtrack. It deserves to be in all the categories. It really does. But so one that was in a lot of categories was Horizon Zero Dawn. I did own that. I bought that with my gold PS4 Slim. Really good game. Graphically, again, probably just as good looking as Hellblade, if not better. It was Guerrilla. That came out in March, yeah, because it released right around Zelda, I believe. And I waited until the gold PS4, which was E3, so that was June. So I waited a few months to grab it. And every day people would be posting tons of videos about it, IGN, GameSpot, and then just, you know, other YouTubers were posting live streams of it, and I was just like, dude, I've got to get that Horizon Zero Dawn, but I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And I knew they were going to release a Game of the Year edition, and sure enough, it's coming out on the 12th. Not even a year. 9 months later, not even 9 months later, it's coming out with a complete edition. So I essentially bought a game for, I think I paid 30 or 40. It was like on sale during that E3 or whatever. So that was cool. I got a little bit of a discount on it. Played it for about 12 hours. Didn't beat it. And then I found out that they were doing the Frozen Wilds DLC. And then shortly after that, I was like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to wait to play all of it at one time. And then shortly after I figured that out, they announced that they're coming out with the complete edition. Almost all of the generation we went without complete editions. Last gen we got Fallout New Vegas complete edition, Fallout 3 new complete edition. All the Assassin's Creed would get complete editions. All the Arkham games would get complete editions. all the big games would end up with that had DLC. Resident Evil Gold Edition, Resident Evil 6 Gold Edition, all of them would get complete editions. Mortal Kombat, this and that. So lately I've been waiting for them, but after a while, this generation, we just didn't get them. And we rarely get them now. So like I just didn't assume that Horizon would get one, and sure enough it did. So I'm a little ticked off about that. However, I've done some research. Complete edition comes out on Tuesday. I am getting it for Christmas. And it does have version 1.46, which is the current to today's date stuff on the disc. So that is fantastic. That means the game will work out of the box. And that, to me, is something that needs to be said about this generation of gaming that kind of peeves me off. But we'll save that for another video. So this is part one of, some of the games that I got this year. This isn't even all of them. This isn't even all the current gen stuff that I got this year. This is just the 2017 games that came out this year. And this isn't even the retro stuff and all that good stuff. But those were some of my thoughts and opinions on favorite stuff of the year. There's going to be a part 2 where I take down all my consoles that I got this year. And I actually went down the line and counted them. They're all on a shelf up there. I picked up 8 pieces of hardware this year. Some new, some old, some that are not technically a console. So look forward to that, and that should probably be out next Wednesday. This is coming out this Wednesday as you're watching it. So peace out for now, guys. Double peace out. Till next time.
Start with a C. Start with a G. Start with a Z. Nothing nasty now.